Hello everyone, this is Ram Samtikar. Welcome to our in Java programming workshop. So in this session, we will discuss about the language fundamentals. That means fundamentals of Java programming language. So here we will focus on what do you mean by identifier, then what is keywords, what is variable, and the different data types which is supported by Java programming language. So we will see all concepts one by one. With the identifiers in a Java. So basically, the names in a Java programming is called as identifiers. It can be a variable name, class name, or method name. Method means in C and C++ programming we call function, but in Java it called as a method. So function in C++ called methods in Java. So take an example. Suppose here you have a piece of code. So in this piece of code you can find out that the names given in the program. So here class, what is the name of class? Sample. So sample is identifier. Here public static void main. So public static void, these are the keywords. But main, what is main? Main is a name of method. So in a Java, main is a method. So method is a identifiers. Again, in the next statement you will find out the variable name is age. So the name in the Java programming is called as identifier. So in this complete code we have sample as an identifier, main as an identifier, and age as an identifier. So we should be know that the name in Java programming called as an identifier. So now move to the next point. The next one is a variable, a most important concept in any programming language. So what is variable? Very simple. Now understand the memory structure. Take an example. We will see practically. This is a memory. So these blocks are acting as a memory location. Suppose in programming language, if we declare int a equals to 10, correct? So a is an integer type of variable and it contain a value as a 10. So the value, basically we want to work with the value every time. Suppose I want to perform an addition of two number, 10 and second number is 20. I want to perform the addition of these two number. But 10 and 20 get stored in your memory. Suppose 10 gets stored here. So here 10 and here suppose the value is 20. So the memory allocation in programming language is always a random memory allocation. So 10 is stored in this memory location and 20 is stored in this memory location. And we know that the memory have some addresses and that all addresses are in the form of hexadecimal value. So it is very difficult to remember what is the address of 10, what is the address of 20, because all the addresses are in the form of hexadecimal, and as a human being, as a programmer, we are not comfortable with the number system, we are comfortable with the naming system. So we will do a simple thing. We will give some name to this memory location. So we will give a memory location to this memory location where the value 10 is stored, is nothing but the a. So a is a variable for us in programming. But what is variable? A name given to the memory location. Name given to the memory location. It's simply called as a variable. So this is a memory. Name given to memory location is called as a variable. So here you can take another example. So you can find out that in a memory, so 1000, 1008, 1014, 22, these are nothing but the some memory location. And here name, age, salary, gender, these are acting as a variable name, and these are the actual values of this variable. So basically if you want to store a name, that name gets stored here, the name Sanya gets stored at the memory location 1000, but we are representing this memory location 1000 with the variable name as a name. For age 21, the memory location get allocate 1008, but it is represented with the help of variable name, that is nothing but the age. So simple, the name given to the memory location is called as the variable. So whenever the memory get allocated, so at that time remember the two most important points. Variable can store a single value at a time. If we assign another value, then previous value get override. So suppose, as usual in other programming language, suppose here a equals to 10. So in a memory, suppose here the 10 gets stored, and in latter if you assign a equals to 20, so the 20 replace this 10, and in this location the new value will be stored, that is nothing but the that value is nothing but the 20. Fine. So variable can store a single value at a time. Variable get a random memory allocation. Suppose if you declare a variable a equals to 12, 10, b equals to 20, c equals to 30. So it not mean that the 10 will be get stored here, b gets stored here, 20 gets stored here, and 30 will be get stored. No, this is not possible, because the memory allocation is random. It may be at the runtime the memory allocation for 10 will be here, for 20 the memory allocation will be here, for 30 it may be memory allocation will be here. So the memory allocation to the variable is always a random memory allocation. So these are the two important points which should be known related to the variable. So now see how to declare variables in Java programming. So we should know some rules for variable declaration, which is called as the rule for variable naming. First, a variable name can only have a letters, both uppercase and lowercase letter, digit and underscore allowed. Variable name must be start with alphabet or underscore only. A special symbol not allowed in variable name. Only underscore is allowed. We cannot define keyword as a variable. And next one, name of identifier cannot be exactly same as a name of another identifier within the scope of the function. So like other programming languages, these are the same variable naming rules which you find out in a C and C++ programming language. So generally we will see an example. So these are the valid variables name. John, value, these are the valid one, because the first letter here is alphabet, all starting with the alphabet. The special symbol underscore is allowed, but someone is want to assign like this, John dollar, so it is invalid. This is invalid because dollar is a special symbol, it is not allowed. So variable name can have letters, uppercase, lowercase, digit, and underscore allowed. Must start with the alphabet, underscore only allowed. We cannot define a keyword. So later we will see what is exactly keyword. Suppose uh, take an example, like if I want to declare int and I am writing as a float. So I want to use a float as a variable name, so it is not possible because float is a one keyword. We use a float data type, so it is not available. So simple, like other programming languages, we have to follow some rules of variable declaration. So these are the some rules for variable declaration. You can find out the invalid 1 2 3, the symbol percentage in starting with the bracket, start with the number, it is invalid, it is not allowed in a Java programming language. Now syntax for variable declaration in Java. So now first syntax is data type and variable name. So you can find out here what is int. We will see later what is data type. Int is a data type and ABC is a variable name. Float is a data type and salary is a variable name. Now another syntax, data type, variable name, variable 2. So you can define a number of variables in a one line, that is int a b c d, float, salary, weight, So like other programming language, we can use this. Again, data type a equals to 12, b equals to 30. So in this fashion, you can declare variables in in Java programming language. So it is quite similar to the C and C++. So so that it always say that if you are having a knowledge of C programming language, it is very easy to understand a Java. And in a features of Java, we also had seen. So basic statement of Java is taken from C. Basic statement of Java is taken from C, so that Java is a simple. So you can find out that you know already how to declare a variable. So it is very easy to understand anyone how to declare a variable in a Java, because you know that how to declare a variable in a C. You know that the rules of variable declaration in a C programming language. So it is very easy. So that Java is a simple. Now we'll go with the next one, that is a keyword. So what do you mean by keyword? Very simple. The reserved word means the word whose meaning is already present into the library of that language. The words, these are whose meaning is already available, which are called as the reserved words. So Java support the following reserved words. So you can find out that the primitive data types, boolean, type, char, float, these are nothing but void. These are primitive data types. Modifiers, public, protected, final, then declaration, class, interface, enum, control flows, if, else, try, catch, finally. So then again, miscellaneous like these, new, super keyword we will use, true for boolean. So you can find out that these are all are available in a Java. So these are the keywords used in a Java programming language. So very simple. Again, I repeat the same point. You already aware about this concept keyword, and Java has taken the same concept from C programming language. But as compared to C, Java provide a large set of keywords. If you compare, see in a C there are 32 keywords, but in a Java there are more than 52 keywords are available. The standard 55 has given. Out of these, some are work with the some versions. So according to that, we can see that total 52 keywords in a Java which are work with the all kinds of all versions of Java programming. Now we will go with the next concept, which is this is the most important concept in Java. Now understand data types in Java. So what do you mean by data types? Data types represent types of data, means representing a data in main memory of the computer. Which kind of data which we want to store. And remember one thing, Java is a strongly typed programming language. That means whenever you declare any variable, at that time you should have to represent the type of that data. Here 10 is an integer type of data, so we represent here as a int a equals to 10. So what is int is your integer data type. So type of data is nothing but the data type. Again the concept is same like a C and C++ programming language, but in a memory the representation and the range is a different. So we will see. So Java support 8 primitives data type. 8 primitives data type. First one we categorize into integer category data type. So in this you find out byte, short, int and long. Then to store a character type of data, we have a char data type. To store a boolean type of data, we use a to represent a boolean type of data, we use a boolean data type. To represent a floating type data, that means it's contain a decimal points or precision value, scale value. So in Java we have a two data type. First one is called float and second one is called as a Java. So you can find out here. So for integer we have a total 4 data types. For float we have two data types, 4 plus 2 6, for one for character 7 and one for boolean 8. So total 8 primitives data types supported by the Java. Now we have to see all these data type one by one. So first of all we will start with the integer category of data, and in this we will see a first one, byte. Now understand the byte. If you understand the byte, you understand how the range has a sign in a data type. So you can understand every data type properly. So we'll start with the byte. So what is byte? Byte is a data type. It is an integer kind of data type, and to store a byte type of data, internally 8 bit has been allotted. So 8 bit means 1 byte. 1 byte of data, 1 byte of memory has been allotted. Now understand, when we declare a any variable, like if I want to declare a byte type of variable, so we will write here as a byte a equals to 10. So what is byte? Byte is a data type. A is a variable. 10 is a value of that variable. So now the point is, what will be the range of byte? Means how, what value we can assign? Can we assign 1000 here? No. There is a one range. So we should be know that what is the range. So for byte data type, we have a range -127 to -128 to 127. So now understand how this range gets assigned in any programming language, the most important part. So let me draw a memory structure. So now for byte, 8 byte is reserved. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and take here another one, 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry. So total 8. Total 8 bytes. So up to this total, so 8 bit, not byte, 8 bit has reserve. So the first bit is assigned for sign value, means positive or negative value, and remaining bits are 1. Initially take it as a 1. Now understand how the range has been assigned. So for binary representation, we represent the value in the form of 0 and 1. So 2 to the power, we will start from here, 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5, 2 to the power 6. Now can you tell me the value of 2 to the power 6? So take an example, 2 to the power 6. So hello. So we'll see here, 2 to the power 6 plus 2 to the power 5 plus 2 to the power 4 plus 2 to the power 3 plus 2 to the power 2 plus 2 to the power 1 plus 2 to the power 0. So in the memory we had seen, so 2 to the power 6, the value is 64, 5 is 32 plus 16 plus 8 plus 4 and plus 2. So if you add all this value, you will get the value as a 127. 127. So that the maximum range for positive is 127. So why the value -128 for negative? So as you know that when we want to store a negative value in a memory, at that time we need to calculate the 2's complement. We need to calculate the 2's complement. So when you we calculate the 2's complement, you will get the value as a -128. So for that purpose, so according to that, the range has been calculated. So very simple. Suppose if I assign byte a equals to 120, so the for a we assign a value 120. So in a memory, for a the value is 120 gets stored. But suppose you declare byte equals to 128, so it will give syntax error. Why precision error it will be give? Because probably it will give a message like this value cannot be stored in the byte because the range of byte is maximum is 127, you cannot store this. So likewise this we should be know that how much range has been assigned in any programming language and how can we calculate the range. So here 8 bytes are allocated, sorry, 8 bits are allocated to the byte value 2 to the power, like in a memory. So total 8 bit will be allocated and here your value gets stored. So the first bit will be assigned as a MSB, which is called as the most significant bit, and most significant bit will store your positive or negative, that is a sign, and remaining 7 bit will be used to store the value. So in a Java, byte is used to store a 8 bit value. The range is minus 127 to 127. Now, so byte data type is best suitable for in terms of stream in file and network. So whenever we transfer a data in a computer network or in a file, so at that time you use a stream. So at that time most suitable data type at that time is a byte. Now another one is a short data type. So what is short data type? So very simple. So you understand this short is an integer data type. For short, the total number of bytes will be allocated 2 bytes of memory and this is the range. So now you can calculate the range. So 2 bytes means total 16 bit will be allocated, total 0 to 16 bit will be allocated, and 2 to the power start from 2 to the power 16 to 2 to the power 0. So you will get this value. So to store a value as a short, the Java provide 2 bytes memory space. So if I want to use a short in a programming, so we will use a short A equals to 300. So we are able to store a value greater than byte. So byte A equals to 300 is not possible, with the short is possible because the size is large. It allocate 2 bytes of memory to store the integer value. Now it is best suitable for 16-bit processor. Nowadays we not work with the 16-bit processor, but priorly when you work with the 16-bit processor we use a short data type. Nowadays we not use a 16-bit processor and we also not work with the short data type. Now go to the int data type, which is most commonly used. So integer value, whenever we want to store the integer value we use the int data type. So if the range of data is greater than byte and short, at that time we go with the int. So for int we have a total 4 bytes of value. So so if you want to store integer value you can use int data type. A is a variable name and store a value 1 to something. Such a large value you can store with the integer data type. But suppose if the value is greater than the int data type, suppose you want to calculate, take an example, if you want to calculate how many characters are stored in a one file, and this file is of size 1 GB. So you can understand in a 1 GB of file there can be a number of characters. So integer cannot store this value. So at that time when the value cannot be stored by integer, then that means when int is not enough to hold a big value, we use a long data type. So for a long data type 8 bytes has been reserved. So you can check how many value we can be stored. So this is a big range. So that can up to this value can be held by the long. So int, long, byte and short. From starting byte, short, int, long, all are the integer data types supported by the Java. So take a look. For integer category, first one is a byte, 1 bytes of memory, short 2 bytes of memory, integer 4 bytes of memory and long 8 bytes of memory, and this is a range. So according to range we have to select the data types. According to value, we have to select our data type. So when we go with the practical session, we will see how this value has been changed and how can we use and which kind of errors message will we get when we assign a large value with the uh, byte and short data type. So this is for integer category. Similarly, to store a floating value, we have a float data type. So float data type is used to store a data in the form of scale and precision. Suppose I want to store a value which is having a decimal value, suppose 10.25. So with the help of byte, int, short, byte, we unable to store this value because this is a decimal value. Byte, short, int, long is used to hold integer value. This is not an integer value, this is a floating point value, and to store a floating point value we need to use a float data type. And in Java, the two data type floating data types are available. First one is called as a float data type, float, and second one is called as a double. For float, 4 bytes are available, and for double we use the 8 data type. So when we use a float, when we want to store 8 precision value, decimal points up to 8, and for double when we want to store a 16 precision value, so at that time we use a float data type. So suppose someone want to use a float, so we can write as a float data type, float a equals to 12.88. so this is your floating point value. So likewise we can use a double. Now move to the next one, character category of data. So when we want to store a numerical value which is an integer, then we go with the numerical, that byte, short, int, and long. When we want to store a decimal point of value, then we will go with the float and double. But when you want to store a character value, single character value, at that time we use a character data types. So to represent the character type of data in Java, we use a char data type, and the character which is stored in a single quotation. So now understand here the most important point. When you work with the character in C, C++, 1 byte is allocated, but in a Java, 2 bytes of memory is allocated. The reason here, when you work with the C and C++, we only and only work with the English language with the ASCII values, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So it provides a less character set. But when you work with the Java support a total 18 international languages. So you later when you learn any Java framework, so at that you will understand the concept I-18N, which is called as the internationalization concept, which is most widely used concept in a Java. So I-18N because 18, so 18 international languages are available, and for that purpose we use a Unicode system. In C, C++ we work with the ASCII, but in a Java we work with the Unicode system, the character set which support to the 18 international languages. And when we want to store some values like character value, so we use a data type as a char a equals to, in single quote, suppose I am holding a single character as a b. So for that purpose we use a character data type. So here for character data type 2 bytes are allocated. So in a C, C++ 1 byte of memory allocated, but in a Java 2 bytes of memory has been reserved for to store a character data types. Now go to the next one, Boolean category of data type. So what do you mean by Boolean? Very simple. It is used to represent a logical value, that means true or false. So sometimes we need a validate some data, so at that time we use a value as a true and in the form of false. So when you work with the Boolean value, so how many memory is required to store a Boolean data type, and for what will be the range? So very simple, size and range is not applicable. No memory allocation for true and false. So what exactly happen if you use Boolean b equals to true. So at that time it will be represented by 1. When you represent a false, it will be represented by the 0. So you can use like this, true. So it is in a small case. If you write like this, true, so it will give a error message, because true is a keyword which is available in your character set, but it is not available. So this is a boolean type of data type. So these are the data types which is used in a C programming language. So we had seen integer type of data, then floating points, and then character and float. In a integer we have a byte, short, int and long. In floating point we have a float and double. For character we use a char, and for boolean we use a boolean which represent a true and false for logical values. So in the next session we will see how to use these all data types. We will see practically how and where to use a boolean, where to use a long, double, like all these things we will see practically in the next session. So thank you so much for your time.